Hello, everybody. Logan here with another episode of Triple Terror. Now, before we begin, I want to go ahead and apologize for any background banging, booming, explosions. Today is the 4th of July, which really shows how far ahead I record these fucking videos. Oh, God. You would not believe how many videos I actually film in a day. I probably film about a week's worth. But I want to make sure you guys have, constant content so you guys are happy. And I'm happy when you guys are happy. So, today is another really fun, colorful episode of Triple Terror because we are covering props from all different kinds of companies. We're talking about Mack, Dark Princess, and the return of Towering Clown. Finally! I just said something out from the background. That just spoiled what the next review and demo is going to be. Oh, and then you can hear the booming in the background too. It's just pandemonium here today. But as you can probably tell, I am super happy that Towering Clown has returned because I feel like Towering Clown was one of those props that just needed to return, So we are going to go ahead and just jump right into it with Mack. So let me go ahead and pull up his page. I am so underprepared. I'm so sorry. Luckily, Spirit loves us and is giving me a shortcut to get to him. So Mack is made by YJ, which makes sense because he looks so much like the Night Stalker. I think is what he was called. Let me double check that. I should know this because I had him. I want to make sure. Yes, Night Stalker. Okay, I'm right. So he looks a whole lot like Night Stalker, which is kind of what I like about him. Now, granted, I didn't sell my Night Stalker because he just didn't fit in with my other scarecrows. My pumpkin patch, if you've watched my videos or seen the photos of, my display, it's mainly comprised of techie scarecrows because, they have a lot of jump scares, and I like techie's aesthetic more. But this takes the kind of base look of Night Stalker and then kind of just adds on to it a little more, which I feel like works for this character. So he's got kind of that Wizard of Oz look to him, and then on top of that, his stitched up mouth is being ripped, and then underneath that you see all these like sharp, jagged teeth. And then you see something underneath the burlap, which to me is really cool. And I think that works really well in its favor. I think it's such a cool design feature, and I really like it. When this was first teased and, we were going through all the photos, I was obsessed with this big maw. I like things with weird, disproportionate facial features. So this is absolutely one of them that I'm just in love with. Now, what makes Mack even cooler is he's actually outdoor rated. So this is YJ's first outdoor rated animatronic, which again really shows the scope of how versatile they are. So not only is he outdoor rated, but he's almost 8 feet tall, and he's at the low price of $180. So making him a pretty budget-friendly animatronic for the most part. And he's got a pretty small box, so we're seeing a lot of pluses. What's also really cool about Mack is just the overall presentation of this prop, where Spirit did the hovering character illusion, but they didn't make him ginormous, which is still really, really cool. So I kind of like that. Now, Mack has really simple animation, and it's just a slow head turn. We've seen this before with Double Trouble, I think is what they were called, the little ghost twins that kind of were reminiscent of the Grady twins, which I don't mind it. I think for an outdoor rated prop, and this is more of kind of a set piece character, I think it's okay. I like him a lot. I like that he's gripping the pitchfork and he's floating up in the air. I also like that he has this like faux leather looking gloves. He's really cool, and I think that it was really well done. I really don't have any complaints for him, actually. I'm quite a fan. I think Spirit pulled this off perfectly. I like the amount of holes that are in his head. I like the weird kind of creature look to him. These weird black eyes, the big mouth with all the sharp, jagged, uneven teeth. I think it really adds to him. I think he's perfect. I will say another thing that I really like about him are the pulls to the pitchfork. Now, looking at it, you would think it would just be plastic pulls, but it turns out they are metal snap lock pulls, which again, huge bonus, especially, with YJ just really taking care of us this season. So we're getting some really nice quality with this character. With as simplistic as he is, we usually fear that the more simple characters get a lot of quality downgrades. You look at Night Terror, for example, really simplistic character and has a lower price, but then, you have a lot of quality sacrifices. YJ didn't do that with this, and I think that's what makes this more enjoyable, and I feel like, for me as a consumer, it makes me feel like this product is going to last me more than, like, a night, And again, it being outdoor rated, and it's a really cool concept. It's basically taking the floating illusions that SVI likes to do. We've seen it on The Witch for Deep Boat, and then they're also doing a 12-foot hovering Reaper. And then now Spirit's, scaling it down because not all of us like, the giants. I'm one of them. I like the looks, but I don't like the size. So they're kind of appealing to both sides, which I think is really smart on them. I really like the side of Spirit that I'm seeing. I like the really competitive side where they're finally like, all right, it's time to really compete with these retailers because they're coming out with some really neat props. So I'm really kind of curious what this is going to be like in stores. I really want to see him because I like what I see, but I want to see him up close and be able to kind of inspect him. I don't know if I'll buy him or not. He doesn't really fully match everything else that I have, but I might be able to fit him in somehow. I don't know. I also think that he is related to Jack Straw, which is really funny. It actually says, unlike his cousin, Farmer Jack. So we have another prop that they reference another prop with him. They like to do that sometimes, and I think it's really fun that they give us little Easter eggs and little nods. I don't really pay much attention to the stories. I don't like let the stories fully control like the character, but I thought that was really funny that they basically made him related to Jack Straw. Another really good animatronic, by the way. So I want to see people kind of pair them together and see how that looks, because they both have really interesting and really fun aesthetics. I've seen people pair him with Night Stalker and they look phenomenal together. So if you have Night Stalker, pair them together, they would look really, really nice. Have them at like an entryway. They have very different animations, but both of them having like crazy laugh tracks and looking so similar. I think they pair so well, which I think makes this an even stronger prop. I like it when Spirit does stuff, even if it's so much later, where they make another prop that aesthetically pairs well with an older character. I think it kind of helps, sell it. But yeah, I really like Mack Straw. I think he's neat, and I cannot wait to see him because he is in stores. So we'll have to see how he looks. Anyway, let's roll his demo. So now we are on to the Dark Princess, which was pretty interesting actually. So the Dark Princess uses this mech that we've seen a couple of times. It started off with the Little Skelly Bones remake, and then it went to... oh, what was that clown called? It was from last year. Dagger Mike. And now we've seen it in Dark Princess. Now what makes the Dark Princess a little more interesting than the other two is she's actually bigger than them. The other two were pretty small, and I think because she's meant to be flying up in the air, Spirit had a little more to work with, and they could actually make her taller and actually give her more, like, room to actually move upwards. Which is, again, pretty significant since in the down position, she actually sits at about 3'8", and then in the up position, she's at 4'6". So that's almost a 1 foot difference, which again, like that's pretty big, at least in my opinion. I mean, geez, that's a pretty hefty jump scare. Now, I mean, it's not Mr. Dark or anything, but still, like that's pretty impressive. So the Dark Princess is by Crazy Create and is currently retailing for $170. Now, unlike the other two items that we're talking about, this one is not in stock right now, and is one of the very few that actually has a video that's not in stock. Spirit's been kind of slowly pushing them in stock, and like maybe by the time you guys see this video, she could be in stock already. I'm not sure. It's kind of a wild card since Barnaby just dropped recently, so it's really hard. It's really hard telling. Now, Dark Princess has a really cool design to her, most notably in the face, or I guess lack thereof. And what I mean by that is she has her skin actually pulled over her face, so you can see the sunken in features of her eye sockets, even her nasal cavities, and her mouth, and it's really creepy. It gives her this really unnatural Slenderman-esque appearance, and I'm all for it. She's got this really nicely stained dress that has this kind of ombre effect where the lower portion is dark and black, and then it gets lighter the higher up it goes. I think it's really cool. It is kind of the same with the sleeves. And then she has these wings, which are really reminiscent of one of my personal favorite animatronics, the Forest Demon. Now, the wings are kind of important because when she pops up, they actually open up. Like, again, she's flying, and then of course her arms also, you know, pop up as well. They did remove the head movement on her, and I wonder if it was for the sake of preserving the mechanism. Well, no. Never mind, the stock photos are just wonky. She does have a moving head. I don't know why the stock photos show her with her head up, which she's in a down position, but I just kind of had a video playing and her head just dipped down. It's kind of weird. Huh. Maybe they didn't put her together right. I like her with her head dipping like that, by the way. I think it looks better. I like that her wings expand like that. I think it's really clever because, again, it sells that flying appearance. And they're actually shaped like wings as well. So, I don't know. I'm a fan. I'm honestly a really big fan of this animatronic, and I do realistically see myself buying her. I don't have my Skelly Bones anymore. I kind of just fell out of love with him. So I kind of want another quick scare, short character like this. And I think she has a more visually appealing appearance, along with kind of a cooler animation as they added more to her with the wings actually unfolding. And again, like, that face is so cool, right? Like, I like characters like that. That's why I like the SVA Wraith and Ghost characters, for example, because it looks like they have skin kind of going over their faces a bit. So I think she's really cool. I'm really happy with how Crazy Create did this one. I think she's going to be fairly popular this year. And with her being fairly cheap, you know, being like under 200, I think she'll do okay. So, her audio also is pretty okay. Nothing too remarkable. She doesn't like say anything. It's kind of like Dagger Mike, where it's just like sounds, you know. So there's really nothing much to say there, but I like her. Again, I think she's really cool. I like her demo with the barn doors opening. I thought that was really cool. So, let's roll her demo. And now we are on to our final segment. We are revisiting an old friend. That's right, we're talking about the towering, creepy clown. And fun fact, all the way back in 2017, that's when I got mine for Christmas, and that was actually my very first life-sized animatronic. The following year, I actually got Hugs to go with him, and that was my first life-size that I actually bought with my own money. So, Towering Clown has a very, very, very special place in my heart, because that was my first life-size. So, as you can expect, I'm probably going to be pretty critical about Towering Clown's return and how the new models come out. I've seen them, I have some thoughts and opinions, so let's just get right into it. So, Towering Clown is my favorite, well, is one of my favorite clown animatronics. I won't say he's my top favorite, he's one of them. So to see him return, it does feel right. And I'm very happy to see him back. It's so nice to have this character return. And I have to say already, Spirit done did him dirty in so many ways. Number one, they never actually updated his main photo to go with like the whole carnival aesthetic. He still has the original photo from when he was in the bridge theme back in 2017. So this is actually still a broken one that's in this photo. Fun fact. And then they never updated his video. This is the 2019, I believe, video that they reshot because it was 2018, I think is what this one was. Because 2017 one was, again, broken. His head was not moving. And then, the biggest shock, I think, to everyone, he's online only. What? They done put Grimsley the Great online only when they're having a circus theme. That feels so wrong to me and to so many other people. Instead, the three-headed dog got to take his place. I don't like that. Now, like the 2017 model, it seems like this one is a toss-up between you getting a nice-looking model and an absolutely hideous frog, which is really disappointing since, from what I was told, Spirit Halloween now has a QA department dedicated to animatronics, and yet somehow Towering Clown fell through the cracks? Because I've seen some pretty bad looking ones already, with some really crooked jaws and some lopsided faces. The eyes aren't even even. I mean, it's rough. It's really rough. And not only that, but they made his face latex again. If you weren't aware, there was a short span of when his face was vinyl. It was 2017, I believe 2018, and some of 2019 were latex, or not, were vinyl. After that, they were latex, and you know, they rot. And this one is absolutely latex. For one, you can tell. Two, I've seen people on YouTube say, "Hey, yeah, this is latex. I can confirm it's latex." So, I'm pretty upset that he's latex. So, another thing I did notice is they gave him a what do you call it? An actual underform, like an actual head form. So that's why, like, some of them look really good. But then again, some of them still look pretty bad. And a lot of the issues are really in the mouth area, is what I'm seeing. So they didn't fully fix everything. They really needed to focus on the mouth, because I feel like the mouth is still pretty wonky there. I will say that the blood looks better, and it no longer looks like he has Kool-Aid stains on his teeth, because there was a while where his teeth looked a little weird. So they fixed that. But I mean, he's all right. The hair, it looks like they made it thicker, so you can kind of pose it and kind of make it, you know, you can make it stand up, because I know the original model, you really could not do that. It was a little too long. So I'm actually kind of going through Upside's unboxing to really see what it looks like, and the actual parts look pretty much the same. It just looks like they kind of updated the head a bit. Weirdly enough, I am gonna buy the new one, and it's for the sole fact of swapping the heads on my old one and this new one, because my old one is starting to show its age, and you know, he was supposed to get new parts back in 2018, and they just never sent them to me. So, and I don't think I can call Spirit and ask for new parts. With that being said, though, fairly solid return. I wish they fixed. Again, I wish the face just looked a little better. I do not. No. I wish they added the little hooks on the base for the shoes as well, because that's another common issue. Or some way to stabilize them, because they do like to kind of flip around a bit. So they kind of missed the mark with that as well. Because that's like what they do with more modern clowns now. And I wish they would have they needed to stuff the face for sure. Like, I think it's my biggest problem. Everything else is pretty okay on this new one. Oh, and by the way, his price point is $229, so he's $10 more than the original. Or when he was last sold, I'm sorry, the original was $200. So there's that as well, a little more, but I kind of expected that. I'm sure a lot of people kind of expected that. So again, it's not bad. Same audio quality, which the audio quality was fine. It's just, I did expect a little more, especially with how SVI was supposed to up their game, and then they kind of just fumbled on Towering Clown. So I'm a little curious on some of these other animatronics that we haven't seen for them yet, like Nibbles. So yeah, Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Triple Terror, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.
I'm starting a new juggling act. I'll need a hand from one of you, and a head, and a foot. Oh, any part will do.